The flash flooding scenes from yesterday near Burlington are pretty alarming. It's quite a situation that was being dealt with yesterday in terms of the impact of the floods themselves. Thank you so much, Kevin. And as we take a look at our forecast, I hate to tell you this, but there is the potential for more storms today. Yes. Having said that, there's also the risk of some thunderstorm activity. So this is the risk zone for today. In fact, it's pretty much in line with where the severe thunderstorm watch is already posted from Environment Canada. So we'll have to watch this closely because the last thing we need is another series of storms or training thunderstorms over the Burlington area, but that's the risk for today. So why is this happening? Because the low pressure system's coming through, the cold front. Again, that's going to be the culprit. Watch for that to move through and then bring us some clearing. So at least for a little while, we will get a break from precipitation up to the north and east. We do have some scattered showers expected there. So low pressure system today, and the next one coming in from the U.S. Midwest just skirts by southwestern Ontario. Absolute torrents of rainwater yesterday, stormwater in Burlington, so much so that there were closures of major arteries like the 407, like the QEW. You don't see this every day with regard to insurance and uncertainty and all of that. Let's check in with Kevin, though. He's on location in Burlington to see what the latest is on the ground. Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. Well, Environment Canada has issued a severe thunderstorm watch. And looking at this, see Burlington right on the cusp of that. Let's hope that we don't get any more torrential rains in that area today, just to compound the issues that we're already dealing with. So our meteorologists have drawn the map to look like this, and it extends into southeast Ontario and Montreal, the risk of storms that would be later today. All because of a low pressure system, a cold front moving through, and that's where we see that precipitation. Now, beginning tonight, we actually see some clearing, so we're not expecting to see much, at least for Toronto in the next while, but to the north and east and western Quebec, clearly we've got some showers there. There's another low pressure system developing in the U.S. Following its track down into the southwest of the province. We may see on Thursday into Friday some light rain coming through, but largely that moves off to the U.S. eastern seaboard and leaves us alone in the GTA. Thankfully, that's how that's playing out, because we don't. Thank you for that explanation, Jacqueline. Always appreciate that. And it just seems surreal, especially if you're living through it in Burlington, where we saw all of that rainfall yesterday, some intense thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, not much fun at all. One of those images, it looked like a pool, didn't it? But let's take a look at where we are with our thunderstorm risk today. Burlington's just right on the edge of that. So let's hope that we don't see much more weather in that region today, just to add insult to injury. But today's thunderstorm risk does extend across the GTA and into southeast Ontario. We do have a low pressure system that will come in later in the week, but it's expected to be more so in the southwest of the province. For the time being, looking for that clearing to happen in the GTA tonight as that low pressure system moves away and showers to the north. When you get 150 millimeters, and some unofficial reports put that at closer to 200 millimeters of rain within only the span of a few hours, this is what can happen. You really can't handle all of the water. The storm sewers are just not able to take as much rain as is coming down. We had training thunderstorms yesterday. Yeah, well, actually, no one can be necessarily spared if you're right in that zone, right? Well, let's take a look at the severe thunderstorm watch that's in place. Let's hope that we don't see any more severe thunderstorms in Burlington putting down that kind of rain, because we really don't need any more precipitation for that region. But that's the watch zone for today: St. Catharines, Hamilton, London, and Windsor. Now, today's thunderstorm risk later on today will be up into Montreal and through Kingston, too, along the 401, basically, today. The reason, because we have this cold front and the ensuing moisture is going to be moving away with the departure of the front, some clearing happening overnight in the GTA. We'll see some showers, still some active weather to the north and east, but there's another low in the Midwest U.S., and that's going to swing by here through southwestern Ontario by Thursday, Friday. Don't think it's going to reach in the GTA. We'll let you know if we see any changes in the computer models at this point, but that's something that's going to be just skirting by the south and west. Largely, for us, we do have a good dose of sunshine in the forecast for us, and temperatures are staying just slightly below average for the rest of the week. Coming home from a long weekend can be hectic at the best of times, let alone when you have a line of thunderstorms. And they were from Freelton out to Burlington. In the span of 3 hours, we saw about 2 months worth of rainfall. Well, Kevin, the city of Hamilton is included in the severe thunderstorm watch today from Environment Canada, St. Catharines, Hamilton, London, down toward Windsor. So let's hope that we don't get any more training thunderstorms over that Burlington area today. Thunderstorm risk along the 401 right into southeast Ontario and Montreal, at risk of some storms later today from our cold front. So we'll just be watching for the potential for these storms. Let's see the clearing by the overnight. That would be some good news, right? After all the rainfall we've seen, some active weather through the north and east and western Quebec for that little trough. And then we have our new low coming in from the Midwest U.S. That one just skirts by the southwest of the province. At this point, computer models look to take it through Chatham and Windsor and not necessarily for the GTA, and then moves off to the eastern U.S. seaboard, but largely looking at a good dose of sunshine this week. Now, temperatures, they're about 2 to 3 degrees below the average of where we'd like to see them this time of year in August, but that's the forecast. Yesterday, late afternoon, a line of thunderstorms, training thunderstorms, meaning that they're over top of the same area over and over and over again for the period of 2 to 3 hours, resulted in the flash flood that we saw in Burlington. Of course, coming back from a long weekend, and then you run into major problems getting to and from the area. But let's take a look at where we are right now. And Kevin's been reporting on this morning that the water's receding, but now it's cleanup time, right? So thunderstorm risk today. Let's hope we don't get any more storms in the Burlington area. Hamilton is included in a watch, as is down toward Windsor. The risk for southeast Ontario and Montreal does exist today, according to our meteorologists, and the risk of isolated storms this afternoon. Yeah, it is possible around the GTA, but we will be seeing some clearing overnight as we start to see the winds will shift to the north and west. Not particularly windy, a little bit breezy, and some showers to the north and east and western Quebec too. Low pressure system coming in from the Midwest U.S. just skirts by southwestern Ontario, looks to stay away from the GTA. We'll see if the computer models show any indication of changes in that regard, but for the time being, it looks pretty decent for the rest of the week. So even the mayor of Burlington is not spared. We have some weather coming across into Newfoundland, also a little bit of stormy weather north of Montreal. But this is the big stuff that's going on right now around London and approaching Port Dover. So the Port Rowan area and Long Point Wildlife Reserve, in that area, getting most of the stormy weather at this point. So definitely watching the skies. Be aware of your surroundings. Make sure that you're watching for watches and warnings. We have watches in place from Environment Canada, your mobile device, here on TV, and just watching the skies around you to be aware of what's going on. Let's go to Mike Arsenault for an update. Well, true enough, Mike, that there's no end in sight of active weather. However, let's hope that we don't get another 100+ millimeters of rain in Burlington. These were official and unofficial totals of rainfall reported in Burlington yesterday. And notice the difference between Burlington versus Pearson, only 3 millimeters. So what a surprise people had as they returned from the long weekend. A lot of people heading to the cottage, coming home only to find that they had flooded basements, and that was once they got home, because of course there was a lot of traffic chaos yesterday as well. Thunderstorm risk today across southern Ontario. We would extend that risk even into the southeast of the province and toward Montreal. So we'll watch to see that later today. And then Wednesday, the risk to the northeast of the province in western Quebec, just due to some scattered precipitation through the region. This is kind of a wider view of what we're looking at with regard to that radar in southern Ontario. We fly things over to western Canada, where in Saskatchewan southwest near the Cypress Hills, as well as eastern Alberta, we're also getting some stormy weather through that region. So something that we're watching for here is this area of disturbed weather. And we've been seeing that the last many days, like in Drumheller, for example. Medicine Hat under the gun today. We'll watch this isolated severe patch across southern Saskatchewan, also through the foothills, including Calgary. It remains very warm across the west.